Hello students, this is Kim Young Spirit Class Lesson 7. Um, let's talk about the class today. So you can probably hear, but this week I'm very sick. My throat hurts a lot. Um, I don't think I have coronavirus or anything like that, but I just have a really bad cold, and it's hard for me to talk, and I have like a really bad headache and stuffy nose. So I tried making a regular video, but my voice just was really didn't sound good. So for this week, I'm just gonna talk to you very quickly, but then I think I'm just gonna have to show you some videos that I made before, some of my older videos, because today I wanted to teach you more about pronunciation anyway, and but anyway. I want to apologize for the quality of this week's video. The quality is not that good, um, but I'm sorry. I got sick, and I hope you guys stay healthy. Okay. I've also decided to not give any more assignments until the midterm assignment is finished. I was thinking maybe I'll give you some small assignments, but I decided not to give you any assignments, just the midterm. So I hope you can finish that well, okay? So good luck on the midterm assignment. Uh, One quick thing about the midterm assignment, I didn't mention, but I want you to pick somebody that was a little, like, not really recent, but at least within the last, 1,000 years. So some people wanted to do some very, very early missionaries, um, but I think it's better if we just pick people from 1000 AD until 2020, now. So try not to pick a missionary that's from so long ago, just because we want to we want to be able to know a little bit about their daily life and things like that. So if somebody lived too long ago, it's really hard to get a lot of details about what actually happened in their life. So again, just please try to pick somebody a little more recent, like within this time period, okay? All right. Okay, so in this video, like I said, um, I'm gonna just be playing videos from my older lessons. We're gonna finish up pronunciation, and then I'm gonna also include a cultural lesson if there's time as well. And for this lesson, you don't really have to pay close attention. I'm not going to be mentioning anything from our book in this lesson, so just I hope it might help you with your pronunciation, but if not, you don't have to worry too much about this week's lesson. Just focus on your midterm assignment and try to do a good job, okay? But now I'm just going to play the videos, so basically I hope I can see you in the next week's video being more healthy, okay? So here we go. For example, if somebody's from Spain, they might make a certain mistake, or if somebody's from China, they're going to make a different mistake, or Japan, or whatever. But Koreans have certain mistakes that they make a lot. So, top 10 English pronunciation errors by Korean speakers. I have to tell you, to be honest, I'm not like a real pronunciation expert, especially how to teach pronunciation. Um, I studied English education, obviously, as my master's, And in that course, there is something called phonology. Phonology includes it's basically all about the sounds of English. What and it is probably the hardest part of learning English education. So English education is not that difficult, but actually phonology is very complicated and almost like science in a way, because you have to learn all of the parts of the mouth and what part makes a certain sound, and you have to learn the special alphabet, the phonetic alphabet. You have to like learn that new alphabet, and you have to learn different sound terms and frequencies and all this stuff. It was very difficult and I hated it. But these days I realized that it was very important and maybe I should have studied it a little bit more. But if you're ever interested in studying it more deeply, it is called phonology, okay, with a PH, phonology. Okay, but let's take a look. All right. I also have a little bit of notes that I made here that I'm going to be looking at. Okay, so the first mistake is between basically the E sound and I sound. Okay, so like seat has a long E sound, E, and sit has a I. Okay, Korean students often find it difficult to distinguish between the vowel positioning in E, as in seat, and I, as in sit. So, let me read this sentence for you. Please sit on the seat next to the sheep on the ship. Please sit on the seat next to the sheep on the ship. Why don't you, as you're watching the video, just for practice, follow along with me, right? So, you know, when you watch the video, it's not good to just sit and listen. It's also good to participate and kind of pretend that you're with me. So I'm going to be quiet for like 30 seconds, and I want you to practice this sentence a couple times and see if you can get it. Okay, so one thing that's Korean people are kind of famous for, a mistake, is the word beach. Like, I'm sure you know, right? Like Hyundai Beach, right? Sorry, what is it? Haeundae Beach, right? That's a very beautiful beach with a lot of good sand, and it's a cool beach, right? But a lot of Korean people, when they say beach, they make a mistake, and they use the same sound as I, so it becomes bitch. So I don't know if you know this, but bitch is a bad word, right? It's like it's a yoke in English. So especially I remember being a young, like in school, and sometimes if we heard a Korean person say I go to the beach, people might laugh and make a joke because it sounds very funny. So that's when you have to be very careful with. Now, how to fix the problem? In my opinion, it's all about the length that you're sitting on the sound. So I'm calling it sitting on a sound, but like for the long ones, like please and seat, you just have to keep the sound like a second longer, okay? So seat, beach, just keep that E sound and you'll make the correct sound. It's all about just the length of the vowel. So please sit. Sit is fast, right? On the seat, next to the sheep, on the ship. So why don't you try it one more time, but this time I really want you to make the E sound a little longer, okay? So try it again. So again, it might sound a little strange, but it's important to make that E sound a little longer, right? So one more time. Please sit on the seat next to the sheep on the ship. Okay. All right, so the next problem that Korean people have is the diphthong sound of O. O. So the words go and no and show all contain a double vowel sound, which is the O diphthong. Korean speakers often pronounce these words with a single vowel or monophthong. When I first saw this one, I didn't really know what they were talking about, and I didn't really understand this one too well. But over time, I really started to notice this, and I said, yes, I guess Korean people do make this mistake. So I think the problem is in Korean you don't really have this sound. So when some Korean people read no, okay, they use it as the Korean Hangul, right? So just nyung and o, right? So in Korean you guys have o, but that's not the same as o. So there's o and o. So a lot of Korean people will say, no, let's go to the show. They're not using the correct vowel. So the problem is how to correctly do this. So instead of this, when you guys think of right, it's just opening your mouth and leaving your tongue kind of neutral, right? Just But this one is more of a rounded mouth and oh. So it looks a little funny, but I really think you should practice this a few times before you read the sentence. Really try it. Don't do the Korean style of all. Really try the oh, okay? And then read it again. So, no, let's go to the show. Really make sure you get that circled mouth. So, please try. Sorry, I'm just checking my timer on my phone. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is another one that's a little hard to explain. It says central vowel, the central vowel. Korean does not have an equivalent central vowel. And as a consequence, many speakers will reach for a more rounded back vowel. This can cause confusion between words like work and walk. Work and walk. Okay, I had trouble explaining this before in another video in the last semester. But I think that the real problem here comes from Korean people's trouble with R sounds, because the R sound is not a sound that you're really going to use much in Korean. For example, you usually say ramyeon, right, instead of ramyeon, which is what we would say. And the same thing, work has that R sound, but walk has just the L sound. And what they're saying with the rounded back is like when you say R, it's more in the middle of your mouth, but like the if you made the two sounds and you felt it, the would be more in the back of your throat when you're doing it. Now, this will help us later, which is how to make this R sound. So I'm sure some of you, know how to do this, but this is for the people who don't know how. Here's my tip for R. When you make the R sound, basically you open up your mouth, okay, and then you pull your tongue back a little bit, and you kind of leave your tongue in the middle section of your mouth. So again, this looks weird, but er, er. So in America, as a kid, we do the dog sound. Okay, so in Korean, it's different, obviously. You guys say mong, 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 right? But that's not the dog sound in America. In America, it's rough. So rough is like the perfect way to practice and learn the R sound. Is the kind of dog's barking sound. So that's the way I think you should practice it a few times before you try this. So think of the dog barking sound. Take your tongue back and just try it. And it's going to be very silly, but you just try it. Ruh, 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 ruh. If you can do that, you can do this correctly. So try the dog. Ruh. And then let's read this, okay? So Bert's words hurt worse than Shirley's. They're all using the central vowel. So one more time. Bert's words hurt worse than Shirley's. Give it a try. Okay, and this is the one that I hate the most. I'm sorry to say, like, I think this one is the easiest one to fix, but students will do it and just like really make me annoyed and angry when I hear this one, because I really feel that this one is easy to fix, but students don't fix it. And like, if we are going to take a speaking test together later in the semester, this is the way to really kind of make me annoyed by your pronunciation and really decrease your score. So I always tell students, please, if you're going to really focus on one, just make sure you don't do this, okay? So this is adding the extra vowel. This is the Hangul pronunciation. So, sandwichy, luku, buku, right? I even put it in my slide. I'll show you. Okay, these are the ones I hate to hear. Bigu, huge, turoku, computer, like, very, much. Okay? Please, don't do it. I'm begging you, when you speak English, you really have to get away from this thing. This is not English, guys. Big is a word in English. Bigu is not a word in English. You guys are studying English hard. You are trying your best to learn. You're studying grammar, you're studying vocabulary, you're doing everything you need to do to be better in English. But you can really mess up your English speaking by using this incorrect, bad pronunciation, okay? So please, just don't do it, right? It's big, it's not bigu. It's huge, it's not hugey. It's truck, it's not turaku, it's not, yeah. You have the Korean computer, right? But it's computer, all right? It takes time to learn this stuff, but please, again, don't do it, all right? Okay. My sandwich. Look, a book, all right? Okay, L and R, this is another one. But we already learned the dog sound, and I think this is basically the same thing. Okay, right? So Korean doesn't really have the R sound at the beginning of words, right? Like ramyeon, right? So same thing, use the dog sound. Rory rarely rushed round very thoroughly. Rory rarely rushed round very thoroughly. All it is All I'm doing is taking my tongue and pulling it back. That's all I'm doing, okay? So take a look at this. If I did not do that, and I let my tongue stay in the front, because basically the way you make the L sound is like this. La 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 la. My tongue has to touch my lip to make an L. Okay? La 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 la. If I did that, lowly, larely, lust, lound, really, thoroughly. It sounds really bad, but that's how some people kind of talk. Lowly, larely, lust, lound, really, thoroughly. That would be bad. So don't have the flick. You got to keep the tongue back. So one more time, I'm going to keep my tongue pulled back, like the dog sound. Roar, roary, rarely, rushed round, very thoroughly. The only time my tongue came was for this TH, but I pulled it back for the R, okay? So keep that in mind. R is all about pulling it back. So practice your dog sound a lot, okay? Okay, TH. It says, like many languages, the TH sounds in th and I don't know, I actually don't even know the other one, do not exist in Korean. The sound th, like 3, tends to be replaced with a sound closer to s or d, as in there, is replaced with a sound closer to d. There. There is. Yes. So I have heard Korean people talk like that. Instead of saying there is a book over there, it's more like there. There is a book over there. They don't have that TH sound. So how to do the TH? The. The is similar to L actually. So la. The. It's another one that's a little hard to explain. So let's compare it with la. Okay, so first let's do la. Okay, la 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 la. What I'm doing with the la is I'm pushing my voice forward, and then I'm letting my tongue down quickly, right, to make the L. So you can make L very well. La 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 la. The TH is very similar to the L. It's just a little different because I'm kind of pushing the air up into the L. So it's almost like a snake sound in English. I don't know what the snake sound is in Korean, but in English, the snake sound is like this. So again, I know I look very strange, but I want you to give it a try, which is to keep your tongue stuck at the top of your teeth and then push the air like I'm doing now. I'm sure I look super crazy, but if you do that, you can make the TH sound. So after you do that, you can start to say th. Just let it go. If you just let it go, the th will come. Th. After you do that, you can start to get the correct pronunciation. So, thankfully, the 3 brothers theorized amongst themselves. Thankfully, the 3 brothers theorized among themselves. So, this is a little bit too much, right? But I think when you're first learning something, it's better to just do it too much, and then as you get better, you can reduce it a little bit. So, like, really, if you're having trouble with TH, really do like I showed you and make it like really too much. Like, thankfully, the 3 brothers theorized among themselves. Just do it like that a few times, and then make it a little lighter, and then that'll be perfect, okay? So please give it a try. All right, one more time. Thankfully, I'll just read it quickly. Thankfully, the three brothers theorized among themselves. Thankfully, the three brothers theorized among themselves. Okay, here is another one. Because Korean does not have the sounds of V and F, Korean speakers of English often substitute them with the sounds of B and P. So, like I showed you in the slide, very becomes berry. Festival becomes festival, right? So each one is a little different, but they're both very important words in English, the V and the F. So let's try to look at each one. So B, right? The B sound is simple. You guys know how to do B, but it's good to show the difference between the two. So how do you make a B sound? You just put your lips together and then push the air out. So B. Do it. I know it's very silly, but just do it. V. How do you do V? The way you do V is V. So you have to take your bottom lip, okay, and then touch it to your teeth. That's how you do it. You take your bottom lip and touch it on your teeth, and then that's how you make the V sound. So, V. Okay? Again, I kind of show you like the way to do it in a weird way, but that will help you, okay? So let's do that. Let's just make the V sound. So, again, my lip is on my teeth, and I'm going to make that weird sound. So, like should sound like a vacuum cleaner, right? 청소기. That's the V sound. V, 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 v. And then you could start to get a very, very, very nice, very, 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 very nice violin that you have, okay? Very, very violin. What else is V? I don't know. Should we let's do this. Why not? We're in Google here. List of V words for preschoolers. Sure, that sounds easy. It's for preschool kids. Yeah, here's a lot. What happened? Where are they? Okay, we have a lot. Okay, so van, vase, vegetable, very, vest, vine, violin, volcano, vulture. Give it a try. Make sure you do that first, okay? Don't have the B. It's not B, it's V, okay? So read them. Very, vegetable, vest, vine, violin, volcano, vulture. Okay. Okay, and F. All right, F. So how do we do F? F is also very important. Festival, not pestival. Festival. It's very similar actually to the V, right? Let's see. I think I did write down how to do that. 7. Lips versus teeth. Okay. How do you do P? So, what's the difference between B and P, right? It's kind of they're very similar, right? So ba 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 pa 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 ba 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 pa 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 pa. What? How do you do that, right? So that's the difficult thing about phonetics, like I told you before. There's actually like a science between what is happening with the two sounds. So again, I'm not the expert of this, but when you do ba, it's kind of neutral, right? It's just ba 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 ba. The way you make P is to give it a little bit more pressure. It's called aspirated. The scientific term is aspirated. It just means that you're giving that little extra air to the B. So it becomes if I don't put that little extra air, I cannot make a P sound. So how are the P and the V different? The P and the F. It's funny, it's kind of like, it's basically the, okay? Same thing. Your lip is coming to the teeth, but it's not as hard as the V. So it's not that 청소기 sound. It's just, there's no shaking. So basically it's like a V. It's just not so tight on your teeth. All right. So V is, it's like really tight, but F is just not so tight. Okay. So try to make the F sound. Far away. It does require to touch the teeth though. The teeth are the key, okay? With these V and F, it's all about the teeth. Let's do the same thing. Let's just find some F words. Not your favorite one, right? Your favorite one is FUC. Don't do that one. That's the bad word, okay? Don't use that one. F words. Let's do preschool again. Preschool F words. Okay. Because we don't want the bad F words. There we go. Fish, 5, flamingo, flower, fly, 4, freedom, frog. Give it a try. Really try to follow what I'm saying, right? So make sure you're doing it. Fish, 5. Try. Fish, 5, fly, 4, freedom, frog. Okay, let's keep going. All right. Oh, and then we'll do a very nice festival. A very nice festival. A very nice festival. A very nice festival. So again, as I'm teaching you, I'm really trying to put it on very hard, but when we actually speak, it's much more light. But again, very nice festival or very nice festival. Okay, just a couple more here. Pronunciation of "w". Okay, this is interesting. This sound is actually easy for Korean speakers to make, but it does not occur before a U sound. Okay? In Korean, it's often completely omitted in these positions. So, you have 우리, right? 우리. It's kind of funny because like if you see Udi Bank, right? In written in English, it's WOO because that's we can't in English we cannot make the sound of just ooh, like it's pretty hard to make it. When you spell it out, it looks very weird to just write ooh. So it becomes Woody Bank in English. Okay, so for us that W behind the oo is very natural, but for you guys it's totally not natural because you just have the oo, alright? So, a lot of Korean people make mistakes with these words. I hear a lot of people saying ood. Ood, you like some water? Ood, you like some water? Ulf, right? Wolf, like the big bad wolf, but they're gonna say ulf. Ulf, okay? And then same thing, ul. So, how do you do it? How do you make that sound? So, oo or woo, ooh. Like you can make ooh really easy, right? Oodies. But how do you make the W? Okay, so basically the way you make the W sound is just to circle up the mouth a little more. So, oodie, is kind of a neutral mouth position, right? Woody. But when you circle the mouth, it becomes woody. So would, would. Really circle that mouth. Okay. Woo, 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 woo. So again, I know I keep making these weird ways to do it. Okay, but when you really want to make that W sound, really make your lips tight and in a circle. Okay, so really do. Whoa, 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 whoa. Practice like that, and then practice. So, would. Do you see my lips really come together? It looks funny, but that's how you gotta do. Whoa, 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 whoa. Would you like me to buy some wood or some wool? Would you like me to buy some wood or some wool? Okay, so one more time. Uh, Pronunciation is really about the way your mouth is moving, so you gotta get used to that O sound. So really, just do it a few times. That whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Would you like me to buy some wood or some wool? The wolf is coming. I think we have to do this. I think I found something good here. We're gonna keep doing this with the preschool words. We need some W. What's going on? W words. List of preschool list of preschool words starting with W. There we go. Walk, walrus, water, watermelon, whale, when, white, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Okay? All right. Word stress. This is something I'm going to teach you later, but basically, this is really hard. It's difficult to learn. Every single word in English that has more than one syllable actually has the correct stress in the word. This makes English pronunciation of words very difficult. Like one that a lot of Korean people mess up is photographer. So for example, if somebody's from Spain, they might make a. Eventually, you can learn. So I talked a lot about word stress, but I think we need to see an example of it, right? So we got three words here. Um, why don't you take time by yourself for a second and read these three words and see which syllable that you're going to hit, okay? So I'll be quiet for about 30 seconds, and I want you to read these three words and check how do you read them differently, okay? So go ahead. I'll be quiet for 30 seconds. All right. So did you try? Um, a lot of people who are trying to teach about word stress will use these three words because they each have a different syllable. They each have a different word stress, but they look so similar, right? So photograph, 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 photograph. In the photograph, you hit the first syllable, pho, really hard. It's photograph, okay? I don't know, photograph means picture, right? Sajin, right? So, okay, photograph. What about this one? Is it photographer? No, it's photographer, 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 photographer. In this one, you don't hit this hard. You hit the TO really loud, okay? I don't know how to explain, why exactly this is or whatever, but it is what it is, okay? Photographer, photographer, photographer. As I was studying to teach this lesson, I heard somebody say that the word stress is really good for English speakers. So let's say, even though let's say it's a big room and people are speaking really loudly and I can't really hear exactly. So, and somebody's talking about, photographs or photographers, the way I can know which word they're saying is I'm just going to listen for the stress. Did they say fo or did they say to? So that's kind of why word stress is important. So anyway, one more time. Photographer, photographer. Photographer, photographer. Kind of saying it quickly, you can see how here's the stress here, here's the stress here. Okay, last word. And again, hopefully you know these words, but photograph is a picture, photographer is a person who takes a picture, right? What is it? Sajinsa or something? Photographic, photographic. Here the GR is hit hard. Okay? So, photographer, photographic, photograph, photographer, photographic. So each one has a different word stress. Photograph, this is hit. Photographer, this one hits. Photographic, this one hits. Alright, so again, this is probably hard to remember and all that stuff, but every word in English has a certain word stress that you have to hit, and if you're not sure, then you can look it up in a dictionary. It's gonna have it. So every word in English that has more than 2 syllables, if it just has 1 syllable like dog or stop, you don't have to worry about syllable stress because it's always going to be, in the middle. But if it has 2 or more, you do have to think about the correct syllable stress. There's always only 1 stress in a word, so you don't have to. First of all, don't try to use 2, but you don't have to worry about 2. There's only going to be 1. So, photograph is not photograph. Like, that's not correct English, okay? It's photograph. You're always going to rise up 1, and the other ones are kind of left behind, okay? Are there any rules? As I was looking it up, there are some rules that you can learn about this to make it a little more easy, but the problem is that there are so many exceptions to a rule, alright? So, like, there are rules, but it's better to just kind of, over time, just practice it and try to memorize a lot of these, because there's going to be a lot of exceptions, and if you keep following the rule and you're really stubborn about the rule, you're going to make a lot of mistakes because there's so many exceptions. But there are a little bit of rules that you can kind of follow and patterns. So listen to all these, okay? Picture, minute, money, doctor, water, pencil. In all of these words, the stress is on the first syllable, right? So let's say I don't know about word stress. I could make a mistake on all these. I might say picture, minute, money, money. Um, there are like some people. This is common. This is a common way that some people who don't speak English well, like if you're from China or Vietnam, I don't want to say anything bad, but just a common mistake they might make is uh, rising up on the wrong syllable because their language has a lot of tones and things like that. So I've heard some people who are from Vietnam will say like money, money. I need some money. Okay, so like uh, that's a good example of how the word stress will mess up the word, right? So it's money. Rise up on the front. Okay. So again, these are all nouns. Okay, just so you know, right? 명사 nouns, right? Picture, minute, money, doctor, water, pencil. Now look at these. These have the opposite. In these words, the front, the first syllable is the word stress, but here all of the ending ones will be. So look at this. And these are verbs. These are 동사, right? Verbs. So decide, decide. You this is not hit hard, but this is hard. Decide, forget, forget, explain, arrive, repeat, review. Okay? Um so basically again, this one we're not saying it loud, it's almost like quiet and quick, but the second one is louder. Okay? So here the front is louder and here the back is louder. These are nouns, these are verbs. Again, I don't think it's helpful to try to memorize that rule, but at the same time, you got to think about word stress. Okay. Okay. So